2, 1.
Hey,
everybody.
Welcome. I'm getting us turned on here to the, there we go.
It is another Wednesday, and that means that Dr. Joe and I are coming at you live on the watch. I hope everybody has had a good weekend, and they got to watch some football, and then we experienced the tropical depression or tropical storm or the hurricane or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Welcome,
And,
everybody.
we're going to talk more about the weather here in a minute and some of the after effects. But I got a message from a lady, I guess it was maybe last week after the show and stuff. And she said, not to complain or anything, but that, a lot of this stuff on the show is not positive, and it'd be nice if, y'all had some positive stuff to go with the negative. So this week, what we're trying to do is we tried to go out and we tried to find some of the positive to go with some stuff. And I think I did last night and today.
Hello, Wanda.
Saw some evidence of some positivity, if that's a word, some positive stuff. And I got to get this gun magazine out of a fourth point of contact. There, that's better. Okay, so what we're going to start off with is everybody knows that yesterday I turned 26 years old.
Woohoo!
And 26 going on 57. But anyway, I make it look good.
Happy birthday.
Oh, don't go there. Just don't waste the time. I'm going to start counting backwards. But look, my family took me out to a favorite place of all of us that you just can't go wrong at. And this is not...
The Crystal.
No. I was hoping it was Crystal.
Really good pizza.
My old standby is Waffle House and stuff. And little shout out to a local manager, or more than a manager, maybe an area manager. I'm not sure what his. Anyway, little shout out to Will Evans out there in Waffle House land. You always do me right when I'm out there in the area. But getting back, they took me out to a real nice restaurant over here in Columbus, and it was so nice. We got out of the car, we got to the restaurant without getting robbed.
That was my first question.
It was great. We got in, and I guess the reason that we didn't get robbed was because there was car after car after car of Columbus Police Department in uniform marked cars all in the parking lot. And I'm like, whoa.
It was Golden Donut?
No, it was at the Outback.
I'm a former Columbus police officer. I can say that.
So, if you want to get Joe for making the donut jokes, you can. But anyway, we're going into Outback. The kids are just freaking out. They've never seen so many cops in one place before, actually live, close up. And they're like, what's going on? What's going on? And I'm pretty sure it's, they were walking in all, calm and collected. They weren't running. There wasn't any distressed looks on their faces.
Okay, so it wasn't free donuts.
No, no free donuts. It was Outback, the manager, and I talked to him after our meal, which we had a great meal. I had a huge steak, and it was great. And I will say that there's the possibility that I did have a drink or two last night, since it was my birthday. Anyway, we talked to the manager over there, and it turns out that Mr. Carlos Escobar, who is the proprietor of Outback Steakhouse, had decided he wanted to give back to the community. And he was feeding the Columbus Police Department. Now, I'm just assuming this because I didn't ask him. He was very busy last night, so I didn't get to ask a bunch of specific questions. But basically, here's the gist. He was feeding the officers on shift for free, okay, giving back to the community. And this was Outback in Columbus. And I don't know what that connector road off of Airport is that goes up, and it's in the, I think it's in the landing, landings or something like that.
Yeah, it's above that, the landings.
It's pretty much it's the only Outback that Columbus has. So that was Mr. Escobar, and very nice man. And he informed me also that not only was he feeding the Columbus Police Department, that in the future they would be feeding the Columbus Fire Department. That the people that were on shift and stuff, they get to come in, and the kids loved it. They saw the uniforms and the officers, sitting around eating and stuff and relaxing for a little bit, and it was great. So that was positive. And then I found out about another business over in Lee County in Smiths, and that's Mike and Ed's in Smiths. It's everybody knows it's right next to the. I think it's Miss Elaine will probably kill me for not knowing the name of this, but I think it's right next to the Panther Mini Storage, or the mini storage place right there, right next to the Wells Fargo bank, right there in Smiths, just diagonally across from the city hall in Smiths. And they informed me that I want to say his name is, and don't hold me to this, Mr. Zito, but we're going to get Dr. Joe here has got the phone number over there at Mike and Ed's in Smiths, and I don't know if they're open yet, but do you think we can give them a call?
Yeah, let me give a call.
There's the number right there. Anyway, what they're doing in Smiths at Mike and Ed's is they are feeding the electrical workers, the people that have come in from out of the area, the people that are putting your power back on, like the people in Hickory Bend, that's been for almost 24 hours they didn't have power, along Lee Road 212. Of course, the people along Lee Road 240, the Faulkners out there have been talking about the big pine tree that came down across the high tension wires, and all that fiasco. Everybody, 242, 280, the trees that went down. So Mike and Ed's out there in Smiths is feeding the electrical contractors or the electrical workers that are putting all these things back together, and they're giving them a meal as they come in or whatever, and feeding them. So that's two businesses now.
For Mike or Ed?
Just ask for the manager or Mr. Zito. I think the name was Mr. Zito that I saw on the post. And anybody out there that if you want to help me out. Out there with the Mike and Ed's information off the post, because right now I've got the show running on my phone, so I can't click out of that without and go back and look. But we're going to try and give them a call. They might not even be open this early. I don't know, but it's almost around lunchtime.
Yeah, they are. They're open. Good morning, Sandy. Good morning, Tom.
So I thought it was great. Those are two examples of businesses giving back to the community. Of course, we have all the people that have opened their homes, the churches that have had people come up from Florida. You saw the videos that I shot out there on Lee Road 240 of the monstrosity of the huge cluster of trees that went down together in that little swampy area down there near the shortstop on 235 and before you got to Eagle Creek. And me and the poor volunteer firemen that were standing there looking at all that with one little chainsaw, a little 16-inch chainsaw, and we started on it. And then we put out the call, on the watch page to say, hey, is there anybody out there that can come help us or got some of those big industrial chainsaws or something like that? And what did we get? Not only did we get people coming out there that left the safety and the warmth of their homes and came out in the wind and the rain and helped us. There was people that just started picking up trees, a section of the trees that were cut and dragging them off the road. There was Lee County investigators that were out there helping. There was the fire department. Smith showed up. The ladder truck showed up. I don't have all the names of all those people. A few people yelled at me that said, they kind of knew who I was and they heard the call. There was people that just stopped, and saw that we needed help on the side of the road, and they couldn't get through anyway, so they figured, what the heck, let's haul some wood and open up this, because 240 is a pretty well-used road, out there in Lee County, the people that live out there. So people like Jake Corley, the man that came with that, whatever it was, a track hoe, a backhoe, a track grabber with a bulldozer thing on the front, a little bobcat looking thing with a big arm on it. I don't know what it is, okay, I'm not that technical. But he came out of Eagle Creek. There was another man that came with a big, 20, 22-inch Paul Bunyan. There was at least two of those big old chainsaws that, it looked like come out of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There was a bunch of little chainsaws. There was the young guy that showed up. I guess he was the first one to show up. I never did catch his name. And then there was something happened to his chainsaw. He left and he came back with something else. He was standing on the back of a pickup truck. Of course, it was the man with the pickup truck that backed it into that mess of trees and let him stand on it. But what am I saying? It was a great effort by people that, some of those people did know each other, some of them didn't, but we all came together at one spot and moved a lot of wood. And if anybody doubts that there was a lot of wood moved, go down to the shortstop, if you're going down along 240 and just go down about 100 yards past the shortstop, just before you're in that area between the shortstop, 235, and Eagle Creek, which is Lee Road 508, and look on both sides of the road and look at the amount of wood that was cut and moved. Now, I think some of that wood may have disappeared. The city of Smith Station may be in there moving, because I've seen the dump trucks and stuff, and the front end loaders and stuff that are going around from place to place, moving out the wood. So the effort is, of course, all the people that have trees down in their yards and stuff of that nature and stuff, you're trying to cut that stuff up. But all in all, with the churches, the people taking people in from Florida, I saw examples of just people in the community that didn't even publicize anything, but, people like up in Canterbury that have like RVs parked in their front yards and tons of cars, houses that might be on the corner of, say, Lee Road 500 and Lee Road 219, that took people in, obviously. I don't have all the names, couldn't even begin to write them all down of the people. I just took notice of people helping people. So people like the manager out there, whoever that, if I don't have the name right, don't hold me to it. The people out there at Mike and Ed's, or as my son likes, my youngest says, Mike and Eggs barbecue. The people at Outback, Mr. Escobar in Columbus, if you happen to go in there for dinner or something, you might want to just pass on your thanks for backing up these first responders and these people, the fire people, the electrical workers. Because I'll tell you what, somebody said this, and I saw this in a post the other day. The electrical workers, you talk about some people that are working a dangerous job and putting themselves out there, because it just takes one little, I'm just going to say they don't make mistakes, but I'm just going to say it just takes one little thing going the wrong way, and that's a short profession ended quickly, okay? Because they're not playing with stuff, that high voltage stuff, like out there along 240, those big power lines that carry 7,000 volts in each little line, 7,000 at least. That'll send you into the next state if it happens to hit you. So, and the other positive thing in our area is I don't think we were very lucky. We didn't have any serious accidents that really made the media news. I'm sure there was some houses. I'm sure there was some close calls. It was a tragedy. We had that one man down in southern Georgia. I don't even know where it was. He just made the statistics or something. But apparently getting up on his roof in the middle of the storm, or just as the storm was going by him or something. And I guess you fall off your roof, and you're not a young man anymore. You can lose your life. So a lot of good effort on a lot of good people's account. And I thought we'd start off the show today talking about that. And for that lady out there, there is your positive message at the start of the show about the area business and stuff. We weren't able to get anybody to answer the phone out there.
Well, I finally did, and they said that we forgot. I guess this is lunchtime right now. And
they're real busy.
They're swamped.
Okay. Well, look, since we couldn't get them live. If you happen to be out in Smith Station, and you're out around the City Hall, the Wells Fargo Bank or anything, that the high school, the junior high school is right in that area. Of course, you've got the grocery store in that area. But if you happen to eat at Mike and Ed's in Smith's, you might want to mention when you go up there and you're paying for your food, or you're on the way out or something, that you think it's great that they're supporting the electrical contractors out there, and just mention it to them. I'm sure give them a good feeling. So
let's see. Online we have Wanda, who said, let's see.
So that's what folks.
Oh, hang on. Make sure anything that Wanda says, you've got to make sure you run it through the censor before you put it out there.
Oh, well, it says, that's what folks in Alabama do.
Actually,
that's okay.
That's what folks beat Alabama do.
And then Tom said people are great at helping.
No, Juan, I'm kidding you.
And we'd like to say hi to Dale and Tom and Wanda and Sandy. And we just have Lori. We just have a lot of people out there listening to us.
Oh,
today.
that Lori woman, you definitely
Stacey?
I've heard about her.
Yeah, you definitely got to watch out for her.
Sandy? Excellent.
Sandy says, too bad Geraldo didn't float back from where he came from. Queen Titi told us to
Who said
stay off
that?
the road.
Who said that?
Sandy.
Oh, Sandy, we're going to talk about Geraldo.
Yeah,
okay,
that's-
don't worry. We're going to talk about that.
She says, Queen Titi told us to stay off the roads, and what did she do? She's down at the Riverwalk with Geraldo.
Oh, thank you.
He
Thank
just wanted
you.
his 5 minutes of fame on that.
And Wanda said, I ain't that bad.
We love you, Wanda.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
love that. And wait, and just a second, I got to say something about it.
Okay.
Also, what about this guy? This guy did, and we all said on there, I saw him out there, I was safe and home warm, with all my power watching a movie, and I saw him out there with a chainsaw. It's soaking wet, looked like he just came out of he was in a sniper action with his towel on out there. He
Oh, that was after. That was
he
way
looked
after.
exhausted out there, but this is what it's all about. Going out in the truck and saying, I'm going to find places where people in need and get out, get up off my butt, and clear these roads and get people. Thank you, Eric.
Before we get back to the
Hey, Penny.
the Geraldo story, I just want to throw in this watch thing. Okay, the people that don't get it, or for whatever reason, they like to throw rocks and stuff, and I just like to say, you can say whatever about me that you want to say. It doesn't matter. You can say whatever you want to say. The difference is between me and these people that are talking smack, or the people that are what I call keyboard commandos and stuff. You never see them in your neighborhood. Okay. Now I'm not saying I'm Superman and I deserve anything. I'm just one of 16,000 people that get it. Okay. And what my point is, what I want you to take away from this thing over the weekend is, when people come together, I don't care what the purpose is, feed the homeless, take care of veterans, crime, we have a disaster, and we're trying to work together to make things better, take some of the strain off the volunteer fire department out there. Because, hey, real quick, the Smith Station Volunteer Fire Department and a lot of these other volunteer fire departments are just what they say. They're people volunteering their time to come out there and risk their life, okay? And from what I heard from Smith's, they need more volunteers. So there's something that if you like fires, if you like driving with sirens and learning about squirting water and pressure and rolling up hoses and stuff, they need you, okay? You're going to have to go through some training and stuff. You're going to have to get trained and certified. They're not just going to, I keep telling them, look, I'll come drive a truck, I'll ring the bell, I'll squirt some water. But no, they say you got to get trained. So all we did was what any good people do. We come together, and the point of this is what I want you to take away. As a community, whether it's the Valley community or a specific smaller area or in your neighborhood, when you come together and you have a problem, you can solve, or you can at least make it better, okay? You can make a difference. If you sit back and you say, oh, we can't do anything, there's nothing that can be done. Yeah, look at these other cities, the problems, oh my gosh, they have the same problems, it's worse in other places, and we just can't do anything. Now that's crap. We can do something, okay? We just got to get together and we got to do it, all right? So,
well, isn't that the whole the whole concept? I think of the watch is exactly that: the watch on each other. That we're out there, not just crime, not just that we're taking, that hey, Mr. So and so, Mr. and Mrs. So and so, usually comes out and gets their paper every day, and I haven't seen them in a day or two. Maybe I should go check on them and see if they're okay, and then find out that they're sick and they're down and they need need somebody to go get some food for them and stuff like that. And I think that's very important. And we had a lot of people that came through, and I can tell you something that I don't agree. My historical mentor is Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin said once that people often get kindness and but they never get a slight. Well, I normally I agree with him on everything except that one. I have found in my lifetime that people do, on the average, do remember kindness. And and I'll tell you what. I have had people that, and I always say this too. Sometimes people say to me, they say, "Hey, I can't believe you. I mean, especially after being a cop for 13 years, I can't believe you gave that guy $2 or something, and it looks like he probably going to buy drugs or alcohol with it or something like that." And I always say, well, yeah, he might, maybe he won't, and I did the right thing, and we need to think about our community. I'm not, I'm sorry, it's just as Bernie, he's going to be mad at me doing this again, but just last week, Eric called me, and you know where he was? He was with, I think he was by himself. He was over there behind Cracker Barrel, looking for that miss, which I think I believe she's been found, or at least communication or something.
I got to be honest. I've never heard the resolution. I might have missed it.
But the point was, you were back in the woods, back there looking, helping search and give out flyers.
Well,
and that's what we can all do. We can all, if we can do this in our community. Because the thing is we like look at the watch, 16,000. Eric, I'm so excited about something. I don't know if I should let the cat out of the bag. Can we tell people what we actually are having made right now? Can we tell them?
Does it begin with a T?
It begins with a T. Yes.
Yes.
It's no longer a dream. It's no longer as we speak. We will now be getting.
We're going to have a T-shirt for the group, for the page. We've got it down to about, I think it's about 3 examples or 3 designs for the shirt, and we're still trying to work it out because we just can't. There's little inconsistencies that some of the admins and stuff, certain things that they don't like, and certain other things, and we're trying to. But basically, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get a design that everybody kind of likes. But at some point, we're just going to have to get it down, and we're just going to have to come up with at least come out with a starting design.
Tom says that she did make contact with her family.
Hey, that's great. That's great.
Thanks. Excuse me.
So, but yeah, the T-shirt will be available, and if you like the group, if you like the page, it is, no matter how the way you want to look at it. If you can buy the T-shirt, you can wear it. What that T-shirt is a visual. Every one of you that buys a T-shirt is a visual, walking, talking advertisement for the group and what we're doing. Okay, and if you like the group and you want to help us, we ask that in the future you try and get a T-shirt or 2.
And it's going to be to support the watch.
Yeah, and that's what
this is a financial enterprise.
And you say, well, how is it supporting and stuff? Well, things for like rechargeable batteries for the scanners.
Scanners.
Yeah, we could use another scanner or 2, another digital scanner or 2 for people.
Supplies, things that we could do.
Well, the gasoline that we burn when we go out to either try and see what's going on or talk to somebody or something like that. Over the last 4 years, I don't know how much gas I personally have burned, and I've never said one word about it, and I don't expect to ask anybody for anything. But if you could afford, and I'm not saying that if you can't afford it or if it's beyond your means or something, that's fine. But if you can afford a T-shirt, it will some of that money is going back into the into the T-shirt. You're buying the T-shirt. Actually, you're buying it, and some of that money will go towards helping the watch page out.
And what it is I think Eric wants, the group wants to expand. We want to expand the ability to go out and have live reporting. We want to go out and that is no one's going to make any money off this. This is a personal salary.
I mean, Come on.
Aren't you talking about like internet costs? And
Sure.
things
This costs right now what we're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, electricity.
A computer, if one's needed.
You know,
Like they said, scanners and batteries and flashlights, maybe, and
And right
the list
now,
goes on and on.
right now, what we're talking about, and we have some fairly sophisticated equipment in here doing this right now, but we need a lot more sophisticated equipment that's going to come. Hey, Sandy, Sandy said Hope One has a gun. They shot my idea down. My idea was a picture of Eric holding an AR-15 in one hand and a Bible in the other, and down below it said the watch. And one of these, if one doesn't work, the other one will.
Yeah.
On that, but they shot that down.
Well, anyway,
No pun intended.
right now we are being helped out by the Paul Voorhees Ministries and stuff. The lights that we're burning right now, okay, is costing Chaplain Paul money. The fact that we're on his computers, we're on his
the ministry,
his mics and all this stuff. Someone had to buy all this stuff.
We have a mortgage.
And,
the ministry has a mortgage payment.
Yeah,
for the house
the building that we're operating in right now
is owned by the ministry.
Is owned by the ministry,
But we have a mortgage payment.
and Chaplain Paul's having to pay for that. So we just wanted to try and give back a little bit for some of this kindness and stuff. We're not saying, and if anybody thinks that a few T-shirts is, I'm going to retire to Barbados or something, you're
Wrong.
yeah, you need to maybe cut off the meds or something for a while or stop drinking because it ain't going to happen.
Sandy said, "Love it."
But anyway, the other thing about that is if you get the T-shirt and you buy it, people will see it out there. They'll be, hey, what's that? Word of mouth. We'll get that many more people. So what we're getting accomplished with 16,000 right now is amazing. But just real, by next year, if we were at 20, 25, 30,000 people, and let me just say another word, even without the T-shirts, if you're seeing this video, if you're hearing my voice, you can do something so simple, just sharing the link on your own pages, talking about it on your own pages, telling your people at church, at work, just being, like little ambassadors running around out there telling people about the watch, okay? People can try it out. If the page ain't for them, they don't have to stay on it. But I'll tell you what, it's like I've said, and I said this to a police officer the other day, and I said, there's two kinds of people out there. The people that have had their homes broken into or their cars stolen have been a victim of crime, or the people that will be victims of crime, okay? And the people that have not been victims of crime don't really necessarily appreciate what we're talking about until it happens to them, and then they get it. So,
yeah, Eric, if I can jump in there for a second, and I've said this before to everybody out there. My years in law enforcement, I was a Columbus police officer, I was a deputy sheriff, and I can tell you that, and this is just a fact. I worked all over Muscogee County. I worked in Chattahoochee County, and I can tell you that there was only one commonality of all the victims, no matter what the crime was, whether it was in Green Island Hills or Oakland Park or downtown or Upotoy or Midland or Casino, where it was. There was always one the victim, white, black, Catholic, Jewish, Baptist, old, young, but there was one commonality. And you know what that was? The commonality was I heard every single time I heard the victim say this line. I never thought this would happen to me. I never thought this was happening to me. That's like carrying a gun, and are you ever going to need one? I hope not. But if you need one, you're only going to need one once, probably. I don't know whether it's one of us will need more than that. But, getting back to that for just a second, too, and so it's important. And this is something I think is great. And I guarantee, Eric, something, because Eric will tell you I'm the political guy, and I can tell you, I know for a fact, because I talked to them, that at least in Columbus, Georgia, I can tell you in Muscogee County, the counselors, and I think even the mayor herself, I've been told, but I know counselors because I've talked to them, school board members, I know they watch this. They watch these podcasts. They look at the watch every night, every day, and our presence is there. And I can tell you something, too, is I can tell you there's one group that absolutely hates us. Wish you could come back to Chattahoochee County. I miss Chattahoochee County. One of the things I can tell you, too, is, let me tell you something. I know somebody who does not like us. who does not like us are the criminals out there, because we outnumber the criminals 1,000 to 1.
Yeah.
If not more than that.
Can I jump
Sure,
something?
jump in.
Yeah. I think it was yesterday. It was posted on the page, and I think the Ledger did a story about it. But over somewhere off of somewhere in the vicinity of Brown Avenue, Casita Road, somewhere over in that area, a grocery store, some kind of Fresh Mart or something, was held up. Okay, and now Joe's just talking to somebody across the room. He's not doing sign language, but that little humor there. So there was this robbery, and I don't know who the person was, and even if I did, I wouldn't say their name. But a volunteer, a citizen, followed the man. He ran to I guess a gold-looking SUV or something, and he continued to follow him. And he called 911 and said, "Hey, look, the suspects are over in this Casita Road, Brown Avenue, going this way, type of area in Columbus." And here's the bottom line: law enforcement got over there, and from what it looked like to me, there was what we used to call maybe a felony traffic stop, but they got all three of them. And supposedly somebody didn't cooperate, and there was a taser used. Well, when you do armed robberies and stuff, bad things happen to you. But all in all, nobody shot, no police officers hurt. Bad guys are going to court tomorrow at 9 o'clock. That is what citizen involvement gets you. That's when you get involved.
Absolutely.
Now, can everybody do that? Should everybody do that? Maybe not. But if it's within your power to observe and report and stay safe, why wouldn't you do it? Now, like me sometimes, I'm traveling around Columbus, I see stuff, but you can't do something when you got the kids in the back seat.
You know what's interesting about that? I want to say real quick, Tom said, Tom just said Chattahoochee County Volunteer Fire and EMS did excellent job at the store.
Yeah.
Those are great people. The Chattahoochee, the Volunteer Fire Department, the EMS, those are dedicated volunteers that come at a moment's notice.
Where was that again?
Chattahoochee County.
Oh, right. Right. Well,
really
a lot of these county areas have dedicated volunteers. Hey, I see that world famous barbershop guru of Fort Stewart and Fort Benning. That master of the motorcycle, Ronnie Wilson, has joined us from somewhere probably out there in Salem, Alabama.
Ronnie, welcome.
So
welcome.
And then for you people that don't know who Ronnie Wilson is, he is the owner of Ranger Joe's Barbershops.
Thank you, Ronnie.
I believe
he's cut my hair.
I know people have cut my hair on many a year, and you can even say that they do such a good job down at Ranger Joe's Barbershop that Ronnie never has a hair problem.
I can tell you something about Ranger Joe's too. By the way, Ranger Joe's, if you go to Ranger Joe's, you will not see a sign outside on the door that says "No firearms allowed" in there. Chappell Moore uses a big Second Amendment person. I also want to say something too this is just moving on to. I hope during this recent. First of all, I'm going to go. Let's go. And we don't really do this ever, and I hope this is okay with you, but. I'm going to go to prayer for just a second. Is that okay?
I do not have a problem with
I'm going to say, because I want to pray for a second. Thank you, Lord, for these last few days of sparing our area and our people. I know we had a lot of damage, but fortunately we haven't had any loss of life. And it's been a tough time in America now with the Hurricane Harvey and the Hurricane Irma. And there has been life loss of life in Georgia and Florida. And in Texas, and please give our people strength. And thank you for protecting us here, and thank you for being with I have children in Gulf Shores, Alabama, and Montgomery, Alabama, and Pat's family in Tampa, and we thank you, Lord, for keeping them safe and giving us each other, which is the greatest gift that you give us, other than being our Savior, giving us each other and helping us find each other. I think that's what the watch is all about, is us finding each other. Thank you, Lord, and we continue to want to try to be the good servants and citizens and people that we should be.
Amen. I'm so glad we got that over with. You know why?
Why?
Because every time I get worried when I start praying to the man upstairs that that lightning might come down and turn me into a crispy critter.
Hey, Carol, welcome. And one thing too, I think that is interesting. This is not a negative thing. I hope that if anything too, this not only did we carry through this emergency we have, is and it's definitely it has nothing to do with our local government, because this is procedure in all the governments when you have a severe weather. But one of the most ominous things that was said, at least and I'm sure it was in the other counties too, here in Columbus, was that when the emergency personnel here were getting ready for the upcoming, which we thought was going to be much worse. Thank God it wasn't. If the winds get, I think, past 40 miles an hour, they bring back public safety off of the streets, and unless it's just absolutely a life-threatening emergency and they can even get to you.
Well, that was a good call. They did that here in Columbus.
They did that here in Columbus. And the ominous statement that was said was, and this is not Columbus, this is everywhere, is during that time, quote, you're on your own. So, you do need to think about that. You do need to think about, being prepared. And, a good example is my wife, Pat. My wife, Pat, is on auction, as everybody knows, 24/7. And, we rely on an auction machine at home that has a plug for power. And we have about 12 hours of battery power, and we can charge it off the car. But there are a lot of people that don't have that. And, and look around your neighbors and stuff. Because, a lot of times people in today, they don't even know their neighbors. They don't even know what's going on. And recognize that there are some people that have medical needs that are extremely important.
I'd like to jump in real quick and let you know that I heard that 5 elderly people perished in Florida in a nursing home. The power went out and they just couldn't survive.
And and that's
because they were on some type of medical machinery or something.
Yeah, and it got machinery, and it got too hot, and they didn't have the
there were flooding also
that they needed for their survival.
Well, maybe that's a consideration, not to focus totally on that, but I mean it's horrible. But for the people that have elderly relatives and stuff, and family members and friends, if you do have them in a facility, you might want to check and see if they have backup generators that could withstand something like that.
Yes, and also too recognize too that and we're going to try in times ahead to give a little tip. I'm in shock. Our dog just barked for the first time ever.
It's our guard dog.
He just went after somebody.
He just scared the bejesus.
Get him, Scout. Good boy. Get him, boy. Our dog, we have a 10-month-old Northshire. That's, I think, the third time we've ever heard him bark. Wow. But anyway, getting back, we're going to try to give every once in a while some tips to everybody. And here's an easy one that I learned a long time ago that everybody can do. When there's an approaching storm, even if it's a bad storm, not a hurricane, on that, one of the big things we always talk about is water. And people say, well, I can't get to water, or I can't, afford. I'll tell you one thing you can do, okay? Fill up your bathtub. Yeah. What? Did we just hear that our second bark in a year? I guess so. Let him down, Pat. Let him down. Are you okay? Yeah. Did he cut you? On that, he's got some sharp nails. Anyway, I'm sorry, surprised here in our dog park. Is the average, a small tub is 40 gallons. Most tubs are 50 to 70 gallons of water. And just make sure you get a good stopper.
There you go, Joe.
And
yeah, I filled up the guest bathroom tub.
Did it go down?
And by morning time, all the water had leaked out, and I was like, well, that was a good waste.
Well, you could go to any place, and get the old-fashioned kind of stopper. You can unscrew the little one that you pulls up and down, and just put an old-fashioned stopper in it. And think about this FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. What is he barking at out there?
Well, I was trying to look at the cameras.
There. Look at the cameras back
There's a man outside with one of those blowers.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And he's really scared.
Well, is he? Well, I've never seen him bark like that. That's amazing. But the interesting thing is that FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, they recommend that all the time, that people should have 72 hours, 3 days, worth of water, food, and supplies per person in your home. And they are the minimum recommended amount. Now I'm talking about drinking water, not for like bathing. Is 1 gallon of water per person per day. So the thing what I'm saying is, even if you have a really small bathtub and you have 40 gallons in there, for if you have 2 people in the house, that's 20 gallons each. That's literally 20 days of water on that. Also, too, and don't be embarrassed about this, everybody, because I know I was a long time ago. Is recognize too that even if you have bottled water or you get a lot of water, still fill up your bathtub because guess why? Because if your water does get cut off, you can take, walking over the stone realizes you can actually take the lid off of the commode and pour water into the commode and fill it back up, and it will flush on that. So you have that. So that's kind of a tip. And when you go to the supermarket, and you see and I'm not endorsing this brand, but you see the ravioli, Chef Boyardee cans, 10 for $1, 10 for $10, $1 piece. Put a few in your buggy, and and put them aside. And try to maintain a couple, because there's more people that get water is so important. More people go. You can go almost, I think it's 21 days unless you're if you're in good condition, without almost any food at all on that. You can only go about 3 days with no water on that, and then you die of dehydration on that. So water is very important, and just have this is absolutely amazing. We'll have to remember this day, the 30th of September. Our dogs start barking. And then but Eric, I guess what I'm coming across with this is I ran into this weekend. I call it the weekend, the storm. Several of our neighbors, and God bless them, didn't even have a flashlight. Not a flashlight, not one.
That kind of spawned the, we'll call it the towel on the head video. Some of the reporting, well, I can understand some of it, and the weather people trying to remain relevant, and this was their little thing, and they're coming on and stuff. I'm not going to get into it and argue about it. Could it have been worse? Yes. Could it? But the bottom line is we experienced some gusts of wind, and we experienced some rain. But how many people out there just think that we've seen the same thing on some of the thunderstorms that have come through? Now, maybe the thunderstorms didn't last as long, but we've had more damage and stuff from tornadoes and thunderstorms that have spun up weather. So I just, I don't know. I wasn't buying into all this is the end of the world type stuff. Did we get prepared for a bad situation? Yeah. Did we get lucky? Yeah. But a lot of this reporting, I just, and what I'm talking about, I'm not talking about the weather reports and stuff. It's always good to know about what's supposed to be happening in the weather. But some of this reporting, just to report something, is what I'm talking about. Like the one report, I'm not going to name the station, embarrass them, but here we are in Americus, and we have a tree is down, and they're coming back to, we're in Columbus, and we have a tree is down. Okay, it didn't matter if there was a hurricane, it could have been a thunderstorm. If we'd had 2 or 3 days of rain, some of these trees, and the wind picked up, the root system and stuff, when these trees get this big, and the roots go out or whatever, or the tree is dying or something, it's a huge tree, and it doesn't have the root system, those trees aren't going to come down, and sometimes they come down on power lines. So, the one other report about, we're at this hotel and such, and these poor people have been in the dark all day, and now they're in the dark, and they don't have any hot food to eat, but they're indoors, they're dry, they're safe, they're eating cheese and crackers and drinking wine, is not exactly the end of the world for them. Okay, so yes, they may be in the dark, and so turn on a flashlight, light a candle. If the hotel was up to speed, they should have had a backup generator for some type of emergency lighting or something. But it's not the end of the world. If you are indoors and you are dry and you are eating something, it'll be okay,
I do know a friend of mine actually, not here in Columbus, but she's out in the elderly place like that. She's gone 47 hours with no power so far.
Listen, there are people in Harris County schools, Marion County schools, they have no power right now.
Bedonia has no power.
And by the way, thank you, Sandy, our fur baby. Yeah, he is adorable. That's Scout. He is a Pat service dog. He's 10 months old. He's a Dachshund. He's being trained to be her service dog. He's being trained to actually be able to smell her skin and tell whether she's low on oxygen. But there are places not only I'm talking about in Georgia right now that they're saying it may be a week, especially if you live out of the country. If you live out anywhere in the country, by the law of majority, they're going to do the big areas first, and then the last to get is if you're out on Podunk Road 5 out in the middle of nowhere. You're the last one's going to get it. And let me tell you something too that.
Where's Podunk Road at?
That's next to
123 Houser Street.
123 Houser Street.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
That's right off of that. And but if you get to that road where you're in the middle of nowhere, you take a left and go 2 more miles, and then. But another thing that's about that too is that like you were talking about generators. Look around. If you go back to Lowe's, Ace Hardware, Home Depot. Generators are like they're like guns. There's all different sizes and all different types. There are generators that are $100, which is a lot of money for some people, but it's a lot less than $1,000. And now a small little generator of that size, that's about the size of a shoebox or whatever you call it, a little bit bigger than that. They will only power one small thing. They're not going to power. And so that's another thing you need to recognize. You need to find out things that you have, like your. Let me tell you something interesting. Guess what? In the typical home today, draws 5 times more power than anything else in the house.
The TV.
The TV. If you have a color TV that is 19 inches or more on that, especially if you have a plasma TV on that, they just even when they're off. They're drawing power.
Wow.
And they draw tremendous amounts of power. So let me tell you what, don't be counting on if you just have to have a TV or something like that, you maybe might go with those little small ones or go to a yard sale and get a little small one or something like that. But those little ones, they may power a couple, maybe 2 lights or something like that. But if you have an oxygen machine, another thing draws a lot of power. Or your refrigerator, which you want to keep on, draws a lot of power. You need to talk to them, and actually, you can get for around, and this is something you can save up for around $400 or $500. You can get a generator that is of a size you can pretty much power all the essentials. Okay. And one final thing with that, please remember, safety tip: if you go and buy a generator, under no circumstances whatsoever. Put that generator in your home.
There you go.
That's what I was going to say. It's got to be outside. It's got to be not in your garage. It's got to be outside. Yeah. It gives off copious amounts of carbon dioxide. And I have personally been to a home when I was a police officer where some people had a generator and they had it at a very large house and had it on the other side of the house. Right. With windows open and had it in an empty room, and all the people died in that house. They didn't know about it.
You see that in the wintertime. Sometimes low-income families will burn charcoal stoves or something, or gas stoves inside the house, and that carbon monoxide in a closed environment will get you in a heartbeat. But Debbie Day just posted, and this should have been at the beginning. I had this in the back of my mind, Debbie. I'm sorry I forgot it. I should have wrote it down. But yeah, there was the motorcycle club. Wait a minute, Trail Riders. No, it wasn't a motorcycle. I'm sorry. The Trail Riders Jeep Club, I guess from Columbus, was riding around helping doing the clearing of the roads, cutting trees down out of roads and stuff like that. And she's absolutely correct. I should have mentioned them at the start of the show when we were talking about the positive stuff. They rode around and they were doing that kind of stuff. And I'm sure there's people that we haven't even heard about and we didn't know anything about. And if you do know about them, and you want to mention them or something, but Debbie brought that up, and that was a good point. The Columbus Trail Riders. I thought when I heard about it, I thought they were a motorcycle club, but actually it's some type of Jeep 4-wheel club, trail riders, bogging, mudding, coming back with your vehicle covered in mud. I guess I don't know for sure, but anyway.
By the way, go ahead. I want to announce everybody right now in case that we're going to try to keep the show on like an hour and a half. Unfortunately, right now we're at about an hour.
Yeah, you wouldn't tell them why?
Yeah, we recently just found out that Facebook, which is not surprising, if you go past about an hour and a half, they will interrupt your broadcast on that because they don't want you on that. Now we will, if we have something important, we'll come right back on that, and you'll see a second broadcast on it. But we're going to try to keep it about an hour and a half on that because I talked to the people on Facebook and they said, well, we will give you free live Facebook for about an hour and a half, and then we're going to interrupt your broadcast.
Ronnie says
that's not us. That's them.
Ronnie Williams from Ranger Joe's barbershop on Victor Drive says hello, and he was riding around and doing the right thing and not trying to text and drive, so he just gave us a shout out. Yes, we did, Elaine. We did speak about Mike and Ed's, the power company guys.
Would you like me to try to give them another call?
If you want to, sure. I'm dying to get back to. There was something. Yeah, right here. Okay, something I wanted to talk about earlier, and we got sidetracked. A gentleman over in the Clark Road Seal area of Russell County. I guess last night somebody went to his house and appropriated his yellow riding lawnmower that he would very much like to have some information on. So if you're out there and you happen to see a bright yellow, brand new looking lawnmower, forgive me, I don't have it. Maybe somebody can post the make and model and stuff. I don't have that in my back of my mind. But if you see it at some yard sale or some online thing, a brand new yellow lawnmower, riding lawnmower that's being for sale, maybe take a closer look at it and see if we can get that information back to the watch page. And I think that happened in the last 24 hours. This is the kind of stuff that we can come together because we all have our little pages out there. We're all into yard sales and different types of groups and stuff, and somebody might see it. It might be on the back of we've got the 300 bales of pine straw that was stolen out of Harris County that we're still trying to find. We're trying to get that trailer back to the people over there in Harris County. And there was at least one trailer spotted that could have been it, but was not it. But at least the gentleman, and I want to say his name was Gene, was in Columbus looking out for it. And to me, it looked like that the trailer was around Hilton Avenue or Cherokee Avenue or somewhere in Columbus. And I think Scouts Out is eating my pen. Hang on a second. Hey, give me that. Yep. This dog attacked my pen. Anywho, we're trying to go.
Okay, I'm going to put you on hold here a second.
Mike and Ed's Barbecue in Smith Station, and we're trying to get them live on the air. Bear with us, because we're not the greatest electrical media people in the world.
Let's see if we got. All right, let's see what we go here. Okay. Hello, sir. Are you online? Hello. Hello. Are you all there?
As I was saying, Joe, I hope you didn't hang up on him. Is he still there?
Okay. Okay. Are you here? Are you there? Okay. Are you there? All right. Hold on. I'll put you on speaker.
We could turn this into.
Are you there, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
We were going to do a Verizon commercial. Can you hear us now?
Okay. Can you hear us now? Are you there? Oh. Keep going. Keep going.
All right, so we're experiencing some technical issues right now. One of these days we're going to get this down.
That's my fault.
Are you going to call him back? Or?
Yeah, I'm calling him back.
Okay, we're going to. If I do have some other stuff that I wanted to talk about that were kind of Columbus based.
Here we go. Here we go.
All right, here we go.
I think we go.
Hello.
Hey, sir, how you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Thank you so much. And this is from Ed Mikes. You're live on the watch here.
Mike and Ed's in Smith Station.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
We're doing great. We just wanted to call. I think we have a thank you note from everybody here for you for your wonderful kindness to the community for all you're doing after the storm and helping feed people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, we heard what we heard was the story that you were feeding electrical workers, contract workers that were trying to repair all the damage in the Smiths and Lee County area, and that you had offered to feed them for free. That was correct, right?
Yeah, what we just wanted to do was we just wanted to throw that out there to the, we have a lot of Alabama Power and Chattahoochee River, guys that come in here regularly for lunch, and we see these guys in our community every day, and we know they're out there busting their tails trying to get the power back up and running over the last couple of days, and it was just something we could do to them, and and especially the out of town guys that we see running up and down the roads the last few days from all over the state and southeast. So it was just a little something we could do to get back to those guys who were out there the last couple of days working so hard to get our power back up for us.
Well, we'd heard it from several different sources. Miss Elaine, who's one of our admins, has a business located about probably not even 100 yards from you. It's the storage facility. I believe, and she's probably going to kill me because I don't know the exact name, but I believe it's Panther Mini Storage right there. Maybe that's not it, but it's the storage facility just down to the right. And she's actually online here, so I'll probably get a rock upside the head. But we just wanted to call you and tell you this is the type of community involvement that created this page that we're on, and we just wanted to call, and we're putting it out there. We're telling people about what you're doing, and I just think it's great, and I thought you deserved, I know you're not looking for pats on the back or anything like that or any kind of accolades, but, I thought it was great that you're doing this for these people that are kind of unsung heroes.
Yeah, well, and the connection's kind of bad. You kind of cutting in and out there, but yeah, I mean, we have some other stuff we're going to try to start doing for the other first responders, the military, and the police and the EMS and those type of guys that we're going to start rolling out on a more regular type discount thing. But the line crew and the power companies are the guys that you really don't hear about until you need them, and then once you need them, there's people putting out negative stuff about how long it's taking to get the power back and all that sort of stuff. And we just want to make sure that those guys know that how much we do appreciate them and the work that they're putting in for us.
Well, we appreciate you, and I want you to know that my two youngsters play sports in the area and stuff, and my youngest always saying he wants to go to Mike and Eggs. He says Mike and Eggs, but of course it's Mike and Ed's. Right there in Smith Station, right off of Lee Road 430, right?
That's right, right off the Lee Road 430 across from the Government Center.
Okay. Oh, the Government Center. So the mayor must come over there and eat on a regular basis, right? Bubba Copeland?
Yeah, we see Mr. Copeland a good bit over here, yes, sir.
Rumor has it he might be setting up an alternate office over there so, he can spend more time with you.
Well,
anyway.
Thank you so much, sir. God bless you for all that you do. Thanks from the 16,000 members plus of the Watch and all our family in the Chattahoochee Valley. Thank you. God bless you, and we really appreciate you. Mike and Ed's Barbecue. Go show them your appreciation, everybody, in Phoenix, Smith Station, Alabama. Thank you, sir. God bless.
All right, thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it was challenging, but I got through that. We made it. On that.
So anyway, well, look, how much time do we have left?
We have. We're getting a little close. We probably have about 10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes. So we're going to jump back to something that we mentioned earlier. Okay, we had old Mr. Geraldo come into town, and of course we mentioned this. I just think it's absolutely silly, and I don't know. Maybe that's what politicians do, but for the Queen Mother, the politician, the governor, she's not the governor yet. I'm sorry, the mayor of Columbus, to tell everybody in the area that you need to hunker down at your home. You need to stay off the roads. But, oh, by the way, I need to go down to the Riverwalk down near the River Club, and I need to do a FaceTime or whatever live action, get my mug on TV with Geraldo Rivera, either because we got people jumping into the river or Geraldo came down to find out if Al Capone's safe was actually in the river, from that TV special he did years ago. But anyway, the whole thing just is ridiculous, I'm just going to say, what I think it is, I am desperate to get my face on TV as much as possible because, I need votes in the future. So anyway.
Well, Carol just shared with us, and she said, come out to Let's Talk with the Mayor tomorrow evening from 6 to 7:30 at the Columbus Museum. Mayor Thomason will provide the community with an after-action report on Irma. The mayor and community will have the opportunity to discuss how the city did during Irma and what the city can do next time.
You'll come out for a lecture by the mayor. I doubt there'll be very many questions.
And if they are, they're good people that she's already selected.
They'll be set up questions or something. I would much rather everybody to go out to the crime forum in Columbus. I believe it's at the Macon County Library, the Muskogee County Library, or the Muskogee Library. They're on Macon Road. I think it's on September the 26th, to talk to some of the potential candidates running for city council and give your ideas to them about what we can do and stuff. But I've been to a couple of the Queen Mothers get-togethers and stuff, and it's always a one-sided conversation. The general public very seldom ever gets to stand up and ask the hard questions.
Well, Eric,
it's just ridiculous.
You made a very good point. Everybody, and I'm not being mean. I'm being practical. Don't waste your time. Mayor Thompson's in her second term. She's in her last little period of time here. That she's gone. You can only run two terms. We need to be bringing these questions to our potential new council candidates and whoever our potential new mayor is in all our communities, and say, because they're the ones that are going to fix the mess that's been out for the last. I heard though that what was it? I heard something about. She said that if she could just get the government sort of bill, she might have a chance about teaching typing or something like that. I'm not sure what it was.
What was that?
I said I heard something about. She said something like if she to get the government center, new government center bill, she might not have to teach typing.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I don't know if anybody's seen it. They might be a little leery about clicking on the link. They're not sure what it is, but there is a parody, a tongue-in-cheek video.
Political sarcasm is what it's called.
Or sarcasm or satirical. And what it is, there's a movie clip taken from a World War II
historical piece
on Hitler in his bunker in the last days in Berlin. And what we have done is substitute the character. It's not really, you see Adolf Hitler speaking, but it's actually the mayor speaking and some of her city staff and stuff. And as someone messaged someone and they said, well, this is horrible. Adolf Hitler is the worst person you could have used. Well, look, when you're in the cinematic world, and something fits, and you have somebody, a movie where you have an example of somebody, saying ridiculous things and things that are obviously not. It was just we couldn't help but use it. Okay, it couldn't help be put in. And if you watch it and you read the subtitles, I have to admit that I would say 95% of the people that watched it, almost fell off their chairs saying it's just too funny. So it is no way a recommendation or any kind of
Keep going. Keep talking. Go on.
Okay. So Joe was trying to get something plugged in there. It's no way saying anything nice about Adolf Hitler or Nazis or anything like that. Okay, it's just a satire that was done. They do it with Trump and stuff all the time. They've done it with Hillary, and I had a thought the other day that maybe somebody would agree with this, but You know, isn't it kind of funny that, you know, Hillary's career and kind of the mayor's career and some of this, they say the same things and, you know, about the same stuff, you know, and I just wonder if there's any parallel between Hillary and the mayor, Teresa Tomlinson, and I wonder if, you know, their careers are going to end up similarly. I don't know. I just thought I'd throw that out there. But anyway, Debbie says, let's see, she was on fake news. Well, you know, Debbie, I take all the news with a grain of salt. I don't go to any one channel, and, you know, whether it be the media, when the media is involved, I look at the different sources and I try and find things to back up what the one report says and see if there's another report saying the same thing. So I don't watch any one station or listen to any one newspaper. And again, Joe, take it away here while I'm trying to electrocute myself.
Put a little bit of patting the green light. Okay. Have a little power potential there, so we wanted to make sure we didn't have a hurricane issue on that. Well, you know, and also too, look at who you're listening to. I mean, if you're talking to Eric, you're talking to me, you know, you're talking to us on there, people you know. That's one thing. When you know you've got one of the things I thought I loved was I want to make a copy of it and send it out to everybody. I don't know if everybody saw it. It's a historical photograph of Abraham Lincoln. It's a very good photograph of Abraham Lincoln. And to the right of it, in quotes, it says, I was very proud in the middle of my administration to be able to say that I have started the fruits of the very first inkling of the internet, and it will prosper in years to come. And it says Abraham Lincoln, 1863. And then down below it, in little tiny text, what it says, just because somebody's famous picture is next to some words doesn't mean it's true. No. And
well, I don't know. Going back to this whole thing about, you know, Geraldo went to save people that he thought were committing suicide or something, and, you know,
give me a
whatever.
break.
You know, people are always jumping in the river. If you go down there's guys with life jackets and stuff, and the guys with little kayaks and stuff, and I mean, the whole Geraldo story is ridiculous. I mean, if you want to go back and look at it, he flew into Charlotte, North Carolina, and then instead of coming down Interstate 85, which would have brought him down through South Carolina into Georgia and then straight to Atlanta, somehow he drives down to Augusta, Georgia, and then comes over to Atlanta, and then comes down to Columbus. So I think he was a man in search of something to report. And when he got to Columbus, the only thing he could find was Teresa Tomlinson by the riverbank. So I don't know what's up with that, but I think everybody saw it for what it was, pretty silly. The fact that it was, it's so dangerous for you common people to be out of your houses or on the road. But let me get down here to the Riverwalk by the River Club and do a live report with Geraldo Rivera, the king of the breaking news.
Absolutely. Well, Eric, I think we need to, we're getting close on our time here.
All right.
So let's go ahead and say thanks to everybody. We'll be back on Wednesday, next Wednesday at 11:30. And we will, I think, we'll be able to show you all something, probably maybe even a sample shirt.
Possibly by next week, we will have some shirts available to show you and stuff. We ask for your support. We ask for you, if you can't support us, that's fine. Just continue to share the word. We've got people from around the area, around the general Columbus area. I mean, we've had people.
And Eric, it's so important to note to everybody, the watch, you can actually make your check. If you want to buy a shirt, you can make your check payable to Chapel Baltimore East Ministry, which is a 501c, and the ministry will distribute the money to the watch. That's per IRS regulations, so it can actually be a tax deductible donation.
Well, we'll get more information about that as we get closer to, you know, right now I'm focused on just getting the design that people.
What about that? What about that one that we were looking at that had a picture of you and me together?
I don't think that one's going to sell too much.
Okay. All right. Maybe one of Stacy.
Yeah, that might get a few. Might get a few people over Russell County buying some T-shirts. But just continue to share the word. If you have a subject this week, that something that comes up or something you want to talk about next week, send us a message. You can always call into the show, and Dr. Joe's going to get better with the phone calls and stuff online.
Yes.
And
Sandy says thanks for everything you all do. Bless you all. Be safe out there.
Sounds good. So with that, we're going to sign off here.
Okay, Ms. Patton, thank you everybody in our Facebook, and you can check out next Tuesday at 1 o'clock will be 50 Resolution Fitness Hour and Radio Crown Country Show, and next Wednesday at 11:30 will be The Watch. So thank you everybody in Facebook, thank you everybody in YouTube land out there, and we will see you soon. We're working on getting an actual radio station, radio signal here, and that's coming soon. Thank you. Be safe. God bless you. God bless America. God bless this guy over here, my wife, and my little dog barked today. What do you think about that?
Hey, all the animal people had to love that.
You had to love that. Take care. Miss Pat, will you take us out?
I will.
Thank you.
No, don't take us. No, put that gun down. No.
Oh, okay. All right.